Okay, cool. Boy!
We're just talking about Dutch.
Pass that Dutch. Pass that Dutch.
Left-hand side?
Okay, so we did
Tiggery.
Tigery.
So now it's time for Borgor.
Yo, Gore!
Tigery.
What's up with all the global warming?
Tigery, my favorite adjective.
Oh, this music. Yeah.
It's charming.
Oh, Turtle Guy.
Total guy.
Dead Zone, a space with no
I like
sound, a
totals.
silent world meant to make people nervous. In psychological terminology, it is the mental state of achieving a goal and then losing sight of the road ahead, accompanied by a sense of duty, giving up, and a sense of hopelessness, the place between life and death. Okay, thanks.
Scoot is finally back. I missed 1 week, but I like that you missed me.
But either way, your true nature will be revealed, and you'll have no choice but to act.
Please don't reveal my true
Riri!
nature.
But I still can't believe that I'm capable of something like that. It's your calling. It's your fate and your destiny.
Kill the past.
Is it not an order? Unfortunately, it's not an order. I can't give that order. Yo, Gore!
Yo.
Fix the global
Yo.
warming already.
Oh,
This is your
yo.
fault.
What was her name? I forget what her name was.
Nanoland?
Nanoland, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Nanoland.
Stars of Koblenz. I'll go over this once more, but this is a place for me to write about my dreams. This place is saved on an online storage mechanism, and the text is open for third parties to read freely. Why am I even bothering to write something like this anyway? I can't think of a good reason now. It may simply be that writing anything has just become a habit or compulsion. Just like how when a person wakes up in the morning, brushing their teeth is a habit or compulsion. Habits and compulsions have stronger powers than things with clear reasons, and with that, I'll continue to write about my dreams. The nightmare is set in the 25th ward. So many people have died, accidents, murders, suies. They all look different, but they're all the same in the end. The same types of deaths repeated. How many people have died? Not a single resident believes that the figures publicized were true or correct. On the other hand, there is no life. Nobody was born and raised in the 25th ward. The place is a huge morgue. A morgue is where dead bodies are kept.
Thank
you. Bodies would be put on display in order to identify those who had died in the war, or of starvation, or of sickness. These places existed in the larger European cities long ago, and now the residents of the 25th ward, even if technically alive, were no more than dead bodies. They are lined up nicely and in order on the borderline between life and death. They're lined up so that each and every one can wait patiently for their own turn to die. The residents have all gathered here. A pleasant living environment, an excellent location, all the latest cutting-edge facilities, etc. Bionic security systems and built-in kitchens, and auto reservation bedrooms. The buzzwords used by the PR firm were all true, but there were also things left unsaid. While the 25th ward provided comfortable living, it also provided a whole lot of death as well. By the time this was noticed, the residents were already busy going to sleep and waking up there, working there, and living their lives there. Several days after the 10th death occurred in one of the apartments in those meaninglessly tall towers, a video showing the moment of death made its way around the internet. The people who viewed it apparently fell into depression, but not because it was a real video. Conversely, it was because the unrealistic-looking death looked like something from a movie, and it messed with their emotions and made them uneasy. A beautiful woman died on screen. I knew her. Was that from the first game, or was that in this game? I think they were talking about the thing that happened in the first game. Remember the video?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if it was which game it was.
I think it was in the first game.
Could have been.
Bar.
I
Schumacher.
put money on Jewish mother. Is she alive
Yeah.
still?
Who's to say?
I don't know. Is that Stella Artois in the background?
Huh.
Like similar. No, it just says beer, but it looks like Stella.
It's beauty.
Stella!
Okay.
Morishima.
So Morishima is. Let's see here. Sorry, it's a very long list. I gotta look through all this shit. Oh wait, Morishima is like Tokyo Morishima.
Yeah.
Right, which is me.
Okay.
Oh wow,
Which is just like a normal voice, right?
that's pretty lucky.
Oh
Unless
yeah,
dies
because he was normal voice in the last game.
He's the yeah. Whiskey. Hostess. Okay. Whichever one of you wants to be hostess.
He's got okay.
What should I call that one?
Scandinavian LW?
Scandinavian.
Norway LW?
Okay.
Uncle Brav.
Anything is fine.
Order like that, and I'm gonna give you the most expensive one we got. Are you from around here?
Not anymore. This place used to have a different name, right?
So you used to be a regular, huh?
It was called Jackhammer, wasn't it?
Yeah. I bought this place with all the furnishings.
Did you know the old master?
A pervert. That's about all I can remember.
Shit. Me too.
You're funny.
This music. No, I really can't remember.
Ah, no, I usually forget the member of Faisal. Alright.
Can I smoke here?
There's an usher over there.
Thanks.
It's all that. That's the key.
Oh, what's your name?
Tokyo Morishima.
Ah. Where did I put that?
Good scene.
Great scene. And cut.
Scoot, are you a cat person or a dog person? Get out of the chat.
Reigns of Porto
Vecchio.
Vecchio.
He is a man of 6 degrees of pussy.
The rain had fallen for 3 days and was about to end, and it was a cold, dim dawn. I was drinking tea and fuck. I just thought of that stupid tea meme. And talking with her in my room. We had conversations like this pretty often. Back then, whenever we had the time, we'd talk. Is it like, I feel like every new meme now is just like, hey, wow, this is annoying. Let's share it to make people suffer.
That sounds
Isn't
about
that
right.
kind of what everything on the internet is? Trolling,
No, I
it
guess.
therefore gives pleasure.
Yeah.
Right.
She hadn't slept a wink, but she didn't seem sleepy at all. She had told me before that she could go a whole night or two without sleep. To her, insomnia, migraines, and starving herself were like friends, but her beauty showed no signs of any sort of illness. There was a certain sense of class in the way did things like drink tea. There was a certain sense of class in the way did things like drink tea to the point where even I, a woman, almost fell for her.
There's definitely a couple words missing from
Suda.
that
Yup,
sentence.
Suda.
You can patch this. You really could. You really could patch this, Suda. Have you played your game?
I do not play my own game.
Okay,
It confuses even me.
does someone want to be the sips tea bitch?
Is it the same bitch or a new bitch?
It's not the hostess, isn't it? It's not.
Oh.
I don't know who she's talking
I
about.
think you should just say it's still moral.
Because now I'm talking. This is an email that I got, and there's a
It's-
woman talking about another woman.
It's you quoting the woman,
Right.
though.
Okay,
So it's
whatever.
still-
I'll just.
yeah.
Hey, do you have any secrets? She asked me as she looked at me over her teacup. Secrets? I returned coyly in a low voice. I knew that there was more to her query. Everyone has secrets. You should have some too.
Query.
Stating things in a somewhat condescending manner was a habit of hers, especially when she was speaking to me. Having secrets, I thought about this for a while. I imagined how I'd change if I had secrets. At the time, I hung on her every word, listened carefully, and was extremely interested. I don't like the 25th ward. It's a very tedious game. The topics of conversation were always changed quickly. Why are so many people dying? Because there are people killing them.
Oh.
That was
Asked
my
and answered.
Is it the gun or the person? I don't know.
Who's killing them? The Regional Adjustment Bureau.
Is that the
of
movie
course.
with all the hats?
Yeah.
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 With Matt Damon in a fedora.
They love
Damon.
hats.
Where exactly did you hear that from? You know who. She had nothing to say about you know who. Why did the Bureau agents kill the residents? For adjustment. That's just a different word for it. What do you mean? You're just using that term as another word for murder. Yeah, it's a more professional sounding term. Maybe they're trying to finish this systematically. Murder usually has a motive. It feels like we're in some kind of suspense novel. I laughed, but she didn't smile in the slightest. Even soldiers killing people in war have motive. It occurs when they see the enemy in front of them. Then what about assassins? Hitmen who get contracted to kill people? They do too, of course, but the word motive is a bit different. Let's fix that. She stared at me with a serious look on her face and drank her tea without looking away. You know what sort of world that is? After asking me this, she went back to her commanding tone again. Think hard about it. I thought about it. Then 1 second later, I answered, murderous intent. As I said the words, she smiled briefly for the first time and slowly nodded her head.
People.
Lovely.
People who kill people are the luckiest people in the world. What? Sorry.
Yeah. It's like, what is what? Yeah, it's here.
Ah,
What?
a turtle.
I
turtle.
Like Scandinavia.
It's a turtle.
Yeah, it's a turtle.
What is this? What?
I just told you
It's a turtle. What is this?
The old master left it here. Said that if a guy named
Tokyo Morishima.
shows up, then I should pass it on to him.
I carved this.
iCarly.
Huh?
I remember there was some sort of trick.
Trick? I do this.
Yeah, probably the shell. What the fuck?
At what point does this stop being a game?
I just like.
Oh God, Adam, I'm so sorry.
I wonder what sort of feelings I must have had for her in the beginning. Maybe it was like how a little sister feels about her big sister.
But wait,
Someone
my.
was just asking if there was incest in
big
this game.
sis.
Back then I was still
Tea?
back then I was still pretty immature and naive. But we weren't actual sisters, and we weren't even friends or acquaintances either. I knew that, so our relationship had a sense of fabrication, or maybe something scripted about it. If this was about me and a good-looking guy, then I would be able to concretely say what sort of relationship we had. It was extremely simple and clear and beautiful. A master-servant relationship. He was my master. Any order that GLG may have given me, I followed it to the letter, no matter what. It wasn't a bad thing. For me, being controlled by him made me happy. Being ordered to do something and then having to fulfill that order was pure bliss. This game speaks to me. She was ordered by GLG to be in charge of my training. He told me, think of her as a big sister and learn a lot from her. So I did my best to follow her orders, and through that I was able to indirectly feel the same sort of pleasure. What was complicated was that I had one more little sister. I don't know if she was actually younger than me, but GLG told me to think of her as a younger sister and to get along. But she acted much more like a real person than me. She was a stupid and foul-mouthed and sarcastic girl. My big sister was
Milu,
my little sister was
Miru,
and I was
Maru,
apart from
Milu.
GLG gave us those names. I don't think the three of us had ever spoken together at the same time before. I have no memory of that. But we may have once, but I can't remember it. Basically, both
Miru,
and I were trained respectively by...
Milu,
So with regard to...
Miru.
I thought of her as a younger sister who had been brought up in a different place from me. I had a job that I was assigned. My job was talking with men in sex chat. Apparently, this actually had educational purposes. I learned about the world through talking in sex chat. Oh, story of my life. I became really familiar with male psychology and sex and sexual deviation. I became able to pretend like I was having sex for hours. What's important is the flow. And just as a sponge absorbs water, I absorbed all kinds of new things, and I became able to read the flow of conversation better and better. GLG had told me before that I was in possession of a really amazing ability. It's really surprising, not even
Miru,
or
Milu.
have that ability.
Maru.
I want you to try to read into my future. While I could read conversations, I couldn't read the future. So I told him that, but after that, I felt as if the real me was somewhere else. And I felt really uneasy, as though a small dark hole opened deep in my heart. I was afraid that GLG would disappear someday. The real me imagined that, and it made my entire body shake with chills. The real me? That's right. I was a girl who was plugged in.
What is this?
That was like pure acapella song.
Oh!
Oh God! It looks even
Oh, it's one of
worse.
those special turtles.
The shell came off.
There's something inside.
What's this?
Ooh, a Motorola Razr.
You mean you put that in there yourself?
Looks like it.
Oh, what a weird present.
Ooh.
Ooh, gameplay. Gameplay.
Oh, game.
Oh, mail!
Oh no!
Oh, it was a trick.
Mail
It was a trick.
on my phone. That's it.
Cool.
I had to press it again.
Oh my God.
The mail function is locked. Input your lock number.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
good.
8675309.
So it is locked.
My birthday.
What?
I use my birthday for PIN codes.
Wow, that's pretty dumb.
But I don't know my birthday.
Oh no.
Oh, what? That made it simply dumb.
What the fuck did you just say?
He had a small stroke. He's
Small
okay.
stroke.
He's back.
Or seizure.
Who made toast? I smell toast.
That's right. Since I was a girl who was plugged in, the real me and had never met
Milu.
or
Miru.
in person. I simply spoke to them through the monitor at all time. It's the same as how I could talk with the sex chat clients. The only communication I knew was done using a computer, and that was constantly connected to the internet.
Miru.
Was in a similar position to me, but I don't know whether or not she was too a girl who was plugged in. To me, it was something I don't need to know, as well as something I don't want to know. I feel like I should talk more about the past I feel like I should talk more about the past more now.
Too many mores. Same thing happened to Spain in the 1200s.
I'll write about the first time I met GLG. The first time I met GLG, I was still the real me, with an actual physical body, but that physical body was bereft of emotion. Sounds like a Pokemon. Miru.
Why don't you know your own birthday?
Because I don't remember.
Do you have amnesia?
I've never had much memory of when I was a kid. But recently, I've started realizing that I can't remember lots of other things either.
How come? That sounds pretty bad.
But sometimes I can remember things.
Like what? For example?
Like this bar, for one.
Oh, this place?
Yeah, I felt like if I came here, I might be able to remember more.
I see.
Thank you, Ryan, for the birthday wish. You got another line.
You got more stuff.
What a weird customer.
Sorry.
Do you have a license?
Huh?
If you check out your license, it has your birthday written on it, right?
If he has ID on him, that would be so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Oh my god.
Tokyo,
It
come
looks
on.
alike. I'm way smarter than you.
My license. It's in my wallet.
Oh my god.
March 27th.
Thank you for the birthday
So
wishes,
yours
the
is.
Palminator.
It's my birthday today.
Yeah, but the Palminator also wished me happy birthday.
That's fine.
So, you know.
You can wish someone a birthday in advance.
Yeah. It's not like it's someone else's real birthday.
Apparently it's 1411.
Shouldn't it be March 27th? Shouldn't it be 0327? Or 2703? I don't know what dumb format they use.
I don't know, that's what someone said in the group, is 1411.
Oh, if someone in the chat told you to jump off a bridge, would you shoot yourself in the head?
Yeah, actually, because you guys fucked up right there, so let's see if
We'll try
141
270.
2703. And if it's neither
not
of
even-
those, I'm leaving.
Oh,
well, that's
Shit.
what you get. That's what you get for
that's
not
why they.
listening to me!
I guess that's why they told us.
Yeah, so we have to go through this.
Now it punishes you by making you read
That
his
is what
number.
you get!
Oh. Damn it.
Huh.
I was born in the 24th Ward and brought up in a dark underground space called the Shelter. Of the children raised in the shelter, I was part of the third generation. Up until then, the technology to create completely controllable people had been honed extensively and was implemented there. But there were also many people from the Shelter who turned out to be less than perfect, and a few people who simply could not be deleted for whatever reason. I was one of those. I was one of the ones who turned out less than perfect. This may make you a picture of a child who can't really keep up in school, but the reality of the situation was actually much more grim. Also, I personally do not remember most of the things from my past in the shelter. Apparently, all of the shelter kids have the same problem with remembering their time in the shelter. It's not that our memories have been erased, but that it hurts to remember, so we can't. It was traumatic. It was GLG who taught me all of this. I first met GLG in a somewhat unseemly shop on the outskirts of the 24th Ward, the place known as a sale club. And every day I would stand behind the counter in front of various types of boys. I was basically one of the shop's products, meant for some more perverted customers. Then one day GLG showed up, and the very moment he saw me, he spoke to me. "You're a real girl, right? I'll buy you.
Real girl.
So why don't you come along with me?" I have all sorts of terrible experiences with having terrible things done to me by the customers who would purchase me there. That was
Please
a
elaborate.
real run-on sentence, and it's not even done. But at the time, I was completely numb to reality. There were times when I'd wake up in some strange bed in the morning, unable to move, and I'd find my lower body covered in blood and all sorts of filth.
Gross.
But I simply felt troubled that I couldn't move, and I have no memory of being shocked or traumatized by it. But there were some times when I'd get really nauseous and go in the shop's bathroom and would go into a panic. When that would happen, the shop owner would give me some kind of medicine capsule. That night, like most of the other clients, GLG took me to a room in a love hotel. But it wasn't the usual cheap, dingy room. Dingy?
Dingy.
Dingy.
Yeah.
Dingy. Is that because a dinghy's a real thing? Is that spelled the same?
It is not.
It is not.
How do you spell dinghy?
Add an H.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where do you add it?
Dang.
Between
Where-
the G and the Y?
Before the D.
Okay.
Okay.
Dinghy.
Learning how to spell.
It was clearly a high-class VIP
Suda
room.
teaches spelling.
It had a king-size double bed and a plasma TV, and it had a huge clean bathroom. In the bathroom,
hold on, stop. A king-size double bed. There are king-size beds, and there are double beds.
yeah.
There are not both.
All right, we're done playing. That's
Suda,
it. That's the last one. We're
Suda,
done.
you're canceled.
We're done. We're done playing. That's the last one we can take.
That's the last straw. All right,
straw.
continue.
And the bathroom had 2 baths that seemed to be for separate things. Also, outside the huge floor-to-ceiling window with lace curtains, there was a large wooden deck on the balcony, and installed on that deck was a big outdoor bath. A king-size double bath. GLG removed my clothes and put me in the outdoor bath. He was still fully clothed, and he crouched down in the round white bath and looked at me.
I got a
At the
round
time,
white bath for you.
At the time, my body was emaciated. My skin had an unhealthy bluish hue, and my bones were visible through my skin. Even though he was staring at my body like that, I didn't think of anything of it. GLG held my head kindly in his hands and spoke to me. When I said I would buy you, I didn't mean just for tonight. I paid for you to be released from that place. That night, GLG and I slept together in the king-size double bed, I guess,
Right.
with clean, comfortable sheets.
someone
It's
corrected
maybe
him.
he
He
put
edited
like
himself.
double bed and then is like, nah, it should be king-size, and then forgot to delete the
Yeah.
first one.
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah.
A real first draft.
Yeah. GLG didn't do anything rough with me at all. In fact, there was nothing of a sexual nature happening whatsoever. We just slept in the same bed, and my parents allowed me to go to Neverland Ranch.
Right.
Furthermore, he treated me like an independent woman.
All the women independent. Throw your hands up.
at me! GLG used one hand to pull a book out of his bag and open it up. He stuck his other arm for me. Stuck out his other arm for me to use as a pillow to rest my head on. GLG read aloud to me from a book written by an author named James Tiptree Jr. It sounds like a Tim and Eric character.
Absolutely. Sounds like Doug. Sounds like Doug Prishpreed.
Yeah. The book was called The Girl Who Was Plugged In. I was entranced by his voice.
Plug me in, baby.
that was the laziest moan.
Right. There are a lot of good moans.
Incorrect.
Talking,
Do it
trust
back.
me.
So 2703.
Oh, there we go.
Unless the chat was right. It could be not the birthday.
What?
Fuck the chat.
I guess it's wrong.
How come?
Oops, that's you. This
it is me.
license.
God
I'm just so
damn.
used to reading everything. Maybe it's a fake.
Oh, you're just supposed to get it wrong, I guess.
You mean a forgery? Hey, you're not.
I may be.
You seem like a dangerous guy.
Sorry.
Do you have anything besides your license?
Just a credit card, but it doesn't have my birthday written on it.
What about your credit card PIN code?
PIN code. I think it's my birthday,
Oh, God, we've been through this.
but I don't remember ever having used it, so I don't know.
Jeez.
Shit.
Well then, how about... screw it. I'm gonna close up shop for the day. Goodbye.
How come?
Nothing. Just kind of a weak spot for the dangerous guys.
Oh. So we're gonna fuck?
My pussy's wet.
Could you show me that weak spot?
It's right here behind my kneecap. The third pole.
The Girl Who Was Plugged In was a short story about an ugly, gross girl who tries to kill herself and is plugged into their beautiful man-made Delphi?
Delphi.
Delphi? What is that?
I don't know. It's a place in Greece.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor.
And is loved by everyone and acts as some sort of advertisement. GLG told me that we'd try something similar to this story. His proposal, as far as I was concerned, was an order. After all, GLG brought me my freedom for me. Brought me my freedom for me.
Bought.
Bought my freedom for me. Sorry. Bruh. So no matter what he told me to do, it was my duty to follow his orders. Compared to Delphi and the girl who was plugged into her, the connection between myself and
Meru.
a simple recreation using computer graphics was extremely low tech. The job with which I was entrusted was to act as a sort of operator, making
Meru.
speak and move and show various expressions of emotion, etc. The digital
Meru.
was made to look like
Milu. Milus.
expressions and movements were captured and recreated in order to make
Meru.
sometimes responses to clients' comments were displayed in a list in a window. And this was basically a chat program used to support conversation. And this was made based on the controversial patterns of Quarter's #1 performer.
Milu.
To make sure that it would be a hit, controlling the system of girls who were plugged in was not really as difficult as it may seem. In fact, as a shelter child, it was the perfect job for me. Finally, I made my debt at quarter as copy of...
Me too.
It really was sort of my fate. Useless girls brought up in the shelter before becoming grown women were cut up and sold to rental shops for rich men to pick up, and before you know it, you're just a virtual woman hooked up to a computer. Until then, I didn't actually have any emotions. I had never cried nor laughed before, but as I chatted with countless men, I gradually started to get all of my emotions back. Actual physical sex and sex chat seem similar, but are vastly different. The men type out these mysterious phrases. The melons are delicious, huh? Ooh, the melons are twitching. Wah! They're so cute and delicious. Stuff like that flows across the monitor. I had no idea what melon was supposed to mean. Then I watched some videos by the Needle Drop. So the chat program installed in my computer took too long to choose a response and decided that these words made no sense. So I went ahead and randomly said, "Oh, really? You like melon, huh?" And the guy on the other side got even more excited for some reason, so I guess it worked. "Oh, yeah, I love it. I really love it. Ah, I love it so much. Oh, God, the melon is coming. Oh, shit, the melon. Here it comes, the melon!"
Asian
At that
people
moment,
love melon, though. They do.
They do.
They do.
At that moment, I laughed just a little bit, and the computer graphic
Maru.
also smiled at that exact moment. After teaching me about what kind of place the shelter was and what sort of things happened to me there, GLG watched over my rehabilitation. At the time, I was doing nothing but repeating the same basic live chat performance at quarter over and over, but after a week, my skills had dramatically improved. I became able to completely and perfectly use the girl who was plugged in system. Being a girl who was plugged in was really fun, but a person keeps doing something... When a person keeps doing something they find fun, they get better and better at it. I think that GLG had really good eye for talent. I was a genius. A genius at being plugged in. I gradually became able to keep up with the imaginations of all sorts of men in live chat.
Maru.
Can also speak out loud, as long as it was via the monitor. She could speak with clients using a mic and speakers. As for the subjects used in chat, they covered everything from spiritual-sounding voodoo-like nonsense to information on the latest cutting-edge gene splicing technology. I became able to think about anything. I actually have no idea whether or not it was the correct way of rehabilitating me. Basically, I escaped from my own personal being, fused with a virtual...
Sorry. Maru.
and followed the process to becoming a new, independent kind of identity.
Is Scoot meowing?
Nope.
Sort of.
He is a Pokemon, actually. He's turned into a fucking
Meru.
Pokemon. Meru.
Pika.
Pika Meru. Here we go. What is that?
This music. What's this? What's that?
This'll help you figure it out.
So what is it?
It's a online skimmer. It skims out the magnetic info strip on a credit card, accesses the appropriate server, and automatically hacks in and finds the PIN code.
I think that's the machine that Alan Turing used to crack Enigma.
Hey now, that's really something you got there.
Some of the neighborhood thugs are left it here.
How do you use it?
It's a simple. Let me use a card.
Here you go.
Okay, here it goes. Transmission.
What's that?
I like saying that.
Crazy. You crazy Icelandic bitch.
Right? Skimmer?
Skimmer.
Yeah.
Skimmer.
Okay. Oh, it's like a, okay.
Okay.
You gotta keep going until it goes green.
So,
What?
the first one's 0?
I don't... Yeah?
Or do they stay lit?
I'm gonna keep
It's
trying different
close,
ones.
so you're close with the 1. You're further away with the 2?
Maybe.
What do you mean?
Try...
How did you know I was close with the 1?
Because you get...
It's not elite. Fuck
get-
you
you
guys.
get-
I hate you guys.
What does this mean?
Well, that's a fair question. Keep going. See what everything does. That gives you 2.
What does blow mean?
I wish I knew.
I don't know.
I feel like that would help.
It says error, though, on the other side, so... Under success, so I don't think.
Okay,
2
0,
hit-
6. We're gonna
okay.
keep going with that.
I love how helpful the chat is. So far, we've had Boob, Leet, and 420.
And 0911. 0911.
0911, there we go.
621.
It's not 621. So, yeah, does that mean 3 are right?
I believe so. I'm just gonna keep adjusting
Yep.
the last number until I get it. I think just sometimes it doesn't register the blow
What the
or
fuck
whatever.
does blow me?
I mean...
Yeah.
Hooray.
Yay,
25th.
fuck you, chat.
E625.
Yay.
GLG once told me that he was infatuated to the point of almost being a sickness with the poor girls brought up in the shelter. I heard these words through speakers on the monitor set up in my sparsely furnished room connected to my desktop computer. I could see GLG's face through the monitor, and he looked somewhat exhausted. So I went and looked into them, and as I came into contact with them, I found out that when provided with an opportunity to use it, the girls had immense talents that could be made to blossom. Sometimes, in order to do that, things would get dangerous, but that made it all the better for me. Does that mean you were drawn to them sexually? I questioned GLG. The me in the monitor wasn't the real me, but
Meru.
I think so. I think that might be my own sexual perversion, even if they're from the shelter. I don't feel the same way about men. Ha 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 ha. The girl who was plugged in system tried to make
Meru.
smile, but at that time, I went against the system and expressed my own feelings. I sometimes felt like doing that. Does that mean that you love me? With that, GLG, someone mysteriously narrowed his eyes and stared at
Meru.
on the monitor, but his mouth formed an ever so slight smile. Yes, that's right.
Meru.
I love you. I thought that if that was the case, then anything was okay. I had my physical body taken, but that was given a heart in return. It was way better than before. For the first time in my life, I was aware that I was actually happy at the time. Also, I thought GLG was the only person who would treat me like a proper woman. Truly, the only one. Yeah. June 25th, huh?
So you're Cancer. We might make a good match.
June
Okay,
25th.
now to see if I can read the mail or not.
Tokyo Morishima and my mother share a birthday.
Yeah.
Yay.
Look at all that fucking gameplay.
Jeez.
So now we can read more.
I'd like to read another email, please.
Nice.
Can we, Daddy? Can we read another email?
Yay!
Yay!
There was one man among my life chant clients who knew all sorts of things and would share info with me. His name was Shoot, not Scoot. He knew that
Miru.
and I were copies of
Milu.
and he seemed to know a lot about the string of deaths in the tower high-rise. It happened one day after spending several weeks drinking tea and chatting with
Milu.
until dawn. During one of our live chats, I asked Shoot a question that had been on my mind for a while. All the people who have died here, who have died, were killed because of really stupid reasons, right? Huh? Well, yeah, pretty much. He answered at me real matter-of-factly. I
Miru.
rested my chin on my hands, and I looked into the webcam and cutely tilted my head. So they were killed because of stupid things, like, for example, throwing out trash on the wrong day, right? What about it? So at first, it was thought to be organized crime perpetrated by the apartment landlords, wasn't it? That's good, Shoot replied with a smile. You're not exactly right, but you're not far off either. Your guess there sounds kind of ridiculous, but you're on the right track. It's funny. But it was actually done by people called the Regional Adjustment Bureau. Hey now, come on, that's dangerous. I never said the name, okay? I laughed. You're afraid of being adjusted yourself, right? Of course I am. He seemed a bit offended. That's fine, but what I don't understand is a more fundamental point. That is, what is the point of killing all these people for such small and ridiculous reasons? Also, most of us residents don't even know really much of it. Do you know? Do you really want to hear my opinion? Yeah, I do. Okay, then everything I say from here on is just my imagination, but okay, tell me what you imagine then. Just as I thought Shoot had smiled, he immediately stopped smiling and coughed. And then he told me the following. The answer is murderous intent. Murderous intent? Basically, living in the 25th ward, you begin to want to kill people. Is that true? Yeah, it is. I don't really get it. What do you mean? mean? If you live in the 25th ward, you should be feeling it too. I mean, if you're just a program, then I guess you wouldn't feel it though. Try explaining it in a way that even a program could understand. Okay, I mean, it's basically just what it sounds like. For example, if the person next door throws out trash on the wrong day, then we get pissed off about that. Like, really amazingly pissed off. Why? Because they don't follow the rules. Shoot suddenly became really angry. There was a suspicious gleam in his eye. If it happened just once or twice, then I would understand. In fact, I could forgive it, but people can't just toss out their trash whenever they want every time. That kind of idiot should just die anyway, I think. But that's just like your opinion though, man, right? It's just my opinion, but a really strong one. In fact, I feel like, why the hell does this guy keep on living anyway? Because we all follow the rules in life. Garbage needs to be thrown out on the days set aside for that. Everyone works really hard in order to keep the rules going. If there's a day when you can't take out the trash, then sometimes you buck up and live with stinky garbage for 3 days or so, while trying not to puke, you know? Nobody can just ignore those rules and live however they feel like it. That's how a society works, isn't it? So you don't just sort of think they should die, you feel murderous intent towards them? Yeah, that's right. In the 25th ward, getting annoyed or irritated or getting pissed off at someone always leads to that. But I mean, even so, I don't actually kill anyone, though, you know? Then it isn't murderous intent, is it? It is, because one day when the neighbor who keeps fucking up in the garbage ends up getting killed by someone, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I guess someone protecting the 25th ward finally killed off that dickhead next door. I sure am grateful for that. Good job, thanks. And I feel more at ease. Like, I feel better when that happens. I feel like I wish I could have seen the dead neighbor's body and stuff, too. More than the fear of myself getting killed next. That catharsis is way, way bigger. It's a kind of catharsis? Yeah, to the point where you can feel the dopamine releasing in your brain. Then there's the game called Sudden Death. It's popular among the users at Quarter. Playing games like that to make it even more fun feels great. I keep saying the same thing, but this is all just my own imagination. And to be honest, I love the Regional Adjustment Bureau. It's an absolutely necessary organization. They take care of the dirty work for us. Those guys are the real public servants. Hey, I suddenly remembered about Goddess. What is it? She's been throwing away combustible trash in the non-combustible trash, like every time recently. Seriously? Seriously. She was keeping it a secret, but I know she's been doing it this whole time. Shoot opened his eyes as if he were suddenly shocked.
Mary's
Eyes moistened up. The real me was getting really excited, and my body started shaking. I froze my gaze on the monitor.
Well, how is that like the only snippet of actual real storyline that I think we've gotten in a long time?
Yeah.
Like, actually explain something.
Yeah, we actually found a thing out.
Right.
Yeah,
like, holy shit.
the placebo in this game is much more informative than the last game.
Yeah.
Jesus. I see.
I'll check out this mail.
Okay.
Why even cut back? Why even cut back to them?
Is this stream part of Kamui's plan?
Oh
Yes.
God, yes.
Oh.
Oh.
I got really drunk last night.
Yeah, you did.
You know, like I'm a little hungover.
We kept buying him Caesars.
Yeah, my voice is not going to last all day. Whew. Since starting to live as a girl who was plugged in, I, as in my previously separated body and mind, started to finally come together. However, as I was becoming a person who had emotion, even only when I was acting as
Meru.
Even so, it was so mysterious how my warm, heavy body actually didn't just rot away and die. Conversely, as I continued living like a hermit, I did keep myself healthy and full of nutrients, so I continued to gain weight. Maybe my physical body had finally started to develop properly. I don't know how old I am, but at the very least, it was clear to me that I had not yet reached my 20s.
Good.
As my height had become about twice what it was, I started feeling differently about
Milu.
Just as Shoot had told me, the fact that she was mixing up her garbage got me so angry that I was no longer able to overlook it and forgive her for it. This is the sort of rule that everyone needs to follow, and it can't be broken. And it also annoyed me that she was
Meru's.
original as well. Furthermore, the fact that she was getting so much love from GLG was becoming unbearable. When speaking to me, GLG was very kind, but there was always this sense that his mind was somewhere else as she spoke, but I could feel it. It was all because of her. I thought it would be funny if
Milu
were to be adjusted. I thought about what would happen afterwards.
Miru
Should die too. She may be a program, and if so, she should be deleted. If that were to happen, only
Meru
would be left of the three. A total victory. But I felt I felt that was something different from murderous intent. It was a cooler emotion. Maybe it's because I'm different from other people. It was something closer to curiosity, an interest in what would happen if
Milu
died. I wondered how she would die, and die when it actually happened. According to what I heard, the RA Bureau had a strange weapon called a pin stick when carrying out their adjustments. Apparently, it had a long, hard, sharp pin that would stick a person from the back of their neck and reach all the way to their heart.
Jesus.
Ugh. And I imagined it in detail, like a long, thin penis protruding from
Milu's.
crotch.
Okay.
I imagined it in such detail that I actually sort of wanted to try drawing a picture of it. But the bad intentions that swelled up inside my heart never came to shape, and even then I would meet with
Milu.
via the monitor several times a week, drinking tea and coffee and sometimes alcohol and talking with her. The way
Milu.
spoke was the same as it had been before, to the point where you couldn't even tell she was the sort of person who would mix up their garbage like that. Apparently you've been making all sorts of predictions recently.
Milu.
Asked me this while staring into the webcam, as if trying to see what sort of expression I had on my face, even though she knows that
Meru.
is simply computer graphics. Just a little bit, I answered. It was the truth. I just talk about the random visions I happen to get sometimes. I wouldn't call them actual predictions. Do they turn out to be true? I don't know, but the clients like to make up these stories and make all sorts of comments about them, I guess. So they're not true then. I never looked into it, so I don't know. With that, I gave
Meru.
a somewhat troubled expression. I was happy to think that finally I was able to keep a secret from
Milu.
Jesus.
What's wrong with Scoot? Nothing. This is what has become of me.
He's meowing. Let him meow.
Let me meow. It's my nature.
Oh,
Shit.
what is wrong?
I shouldn't have shown you this mail. I feel like this isn't something I should be showing anyone.
It sounds to me like you are getting careless.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, how about your special powers? Does anything come to mind?
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about it.
It's a bit late for that, isn't it? Come on, just tell me.
Ugh. Well, it's probably that I can talk to dead people. Oh,
Ooh,
dead people.
real Haley
Ooh.
Joel.
yeah, I think this got addressed in the
Like a sixth sense.
people who have just recently died. Also, maybe people who are about to die. Anyway, apparently I can communicate with people like that.
I see.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably not a dead people, but their residential thoughts.
Residual?
Residential thoughts.
They're
Huh?
they're house
Their
thoughts.
house thoughts.
Really?
If these walls could talk. You want some more whiskey?
Oh, yeah. Okay, one more, I guess.
I'll have a one or two.
Kill me.
Gameplay.
Kill me.
Gameplay.
I like how all the titles of the emails are obscure world capitals.
Yeah.
Milu.
Dies. On a moonless night, just before midnight, Turtle Guy appears and steals the password. Goddess looks up at the ceiling and suddenly stops breathing. The vision was amazingly clear, so I had just assumed that it was my own wishes and desires that I was imagining. As I was acting naughty with shoot, I suddenly typed out those words, and like I was some sort of automated writing program, but I just could not seem to figure out what the part about Turtle Guy appearing and stealing the password meant. Where did it come from? Did it mean something? I had no idea. A turtle guy stealing a password. That sentence sounds like a joke. And what exactly was a turtle guy anyway?
He likes turtles.
3 days before the moonlight, hoping that
Milu.
would somehow be killed, I contacted the RAB anonymously when I had that idea. I suddenly realized that all the people who had been adjusted so far were probably adjusted to other residents reporting their habits too.
Stitches get stitches.
Adjustments should be something that is contracted by the residents. Using a customer who would talk about how he was able to get his hands on anything via net auction, I obtained an illegal number for a phone which the owner's info had been deleted. I used this to make an anonymous call to the RA Bureau. I used my very own actual physical body to make the call. It was actually the first time ever in my life that I would use my own voice to speak to someone over the telephone. Maybe it was because of that, but I wasn't able to report her properly. As soon as they answered with hello, I suddenly froze and had a ringing in my ears, and my mind went blank and I couldn't think of anything. I knew I had to use words and speak aloud, but I couldn't. I was only able to make a strange sound with my mouth, so I almost immediately just gave up and hung up the phone. It was completely different from
Meru's.
constantly smooth and cool communication skills. When I wasn't plugged in, I was even more of a useless waste of meat than before. It was embarrassing. So I thought about what happened. Now, I was the only one, I was the one who most wanted to be able to believe
Meru's.
predictions. I felt that
Milu.
could only be killed on a moonless night. Of course, the normal, rational part of me thought that it was totally fine. If if that were to happen, then I would simply continue to live the same sort of life that I had been living up to that point. But the part of me that wanted her dead just would not go away. The image of her staring up at the ceiling with her mouth wide open, looking like a fool struck through, it was burned into my mind and wouldn't disappear.
Jesus. Thanks for subscribing, John Pariah, 26 months.
Thank
What's
you.
that, about 2.166 years? And thank you earlier, Greek Girl, for subscribing for an undetermined number of months that I can't remember. It
6
was
months.
more than 2. Was it 6?
Yep.
It was 6.
I can look?
Nope.
Residual thoughts. Oh yeah, I feel like I know that. I feel like I've been talking with them for a while now. Actually, I think maybe even now.
Gameplay?
Look? How the hell am I supposed to?
Well, you tried. Gameplay over.
Damn, I can't figure this out. What the fuck just happened? Another email? Oh, the night was a new moon, the air was thick, and chilly wind sometimes blew. That day I was unable to calm down from the time I got up in the morning. Then, when the sun had gone down and you could finally say it was at night, I found out that Turtle Guy had appeared. Turtle Guy appeared on
Miru's
channel at quarter and came into chat asking for the password for Goddess. I received an email from
Miru.
explaining all of this. Her mails were always extremely businesslike and formal. The mail entitled Suspicious User Report had his handle, ID, and IP address, and the entire chat log was also attached to the mail as a text file. As I was reading the chat log, someone called for me by messenger. I clicked on it to see it. It was Shoot. And he told me that just then a stranger had called him at home and offered to give him info about Goddess all of a sudden. Shoot was told to come to the clock tower in Area 7 of the tower high rise in 10 minutes, but he didn't seem like he was going to go. He really hates meeting with people. Like me, he rarely set foot outside his apartment in the tower. I assumed that the person calling Shoot was at his home phone was Turtle Guy. I made a quick decision and asked Shoot to give me the number left in his incoming call history. I sent him a message saying, I can get to the clock tower in 5 minutes, so I'll go and take a peek at this guy. As a joke, I'll report later, and left my room.
I love emails.
I love my friends.
Things I love. My friends and emails.
Come on.
Oh, what are you thinking about? Oh, that mail?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I'm a bit concerned.
Concerned about what?
Oh, they say that when you feel like you're being careless, it's good to sharpen a knife.
Huh? Really?
Oh, yeah, a guy I once dated was like that. There was a huge age difference, you know, daddy. But you probably don't care about.
No, tell me about it.
It's nothing important. The proper way to sharpen a knife is actually pretty difficult. If you're interested, I'll check it out online. You can find all sorts of ways to do it.
Okay.
Basically, the fact it's difficult is sort of the point. It's hard to sharpen it properly, like an amateur, to give it a proper edge. But in order to get it sharp, you need to get it a sharpening stone and just go to town with it. That's not how you... Apparently, it's a chip away at whatever's bothering you too.
I see.
It probably sounds like a bullshit coming from me.
It does coming from you.
I realize it's complete bullshit. But I've tried to take it. I've tried it out, so I know what I'm talking about. Putting all into sharpening a knife makes the senses get sharper. 2. It slowly but surely. All the unnecessary garbage disappears, and only what's important becomes visible. Sharpening a knife can do that for you.
What are we even talking about?
I don't
know.
I don't even.
I met with Total Guy.
Total Guy!
I wasn't even able to make a proper phone call, but I spoke with him directly about all sorts of things. I wasn't able to look at him directly in the eyes, but I strangely didn't feel fear or uneasiness at all. I knew that he wanted to speak with Goddess, so I made a quick decision and put on an amazing act for him. I wondered if he worked for RA Bureau, but then actually meeting him, I knew that it wasn't so. I knew because I could tell that he was the same type of person as me. I'm certain that he still doesn't fully understand himself just yet, but he was definitely brought up in the shelter. Something led him here. Almost like he was sleepwalking, like a lonely animal walking through the forest.
Like a lonely wolf.
Controlled by fate,
As
like
it
me.
were.
When I thought of it like this, I felt like something was squeezing down on my chest, some strong emotion. Oh,
I love
I
emails.
think this story is gonna make me constipated.
at least we're kind of getting story.
Yeah, actually.
A turtle!
Portal.
Red.
Red.
What?
The red turtle.
License
Licence.
and the fake me.
So, do you have a licence for that minky?
That's right. Sharpening up my mind. That's what I need to do
Sharpening
right
the
now.
knife. Yeah.
The me of the past. Look again.
Boyfriend.
Ah. What the... The me of the past.
Hard to tell without Cam, but Adam's skin
Red.
cells have become emails.
Yep. Fake? Why?
Why?
Ah. Fake? Why?
Why?
The me of the past.
What are you doing?
But I made this, that's for certain.
Oh my god. Dude, I hate you.
Oh yeah, I got a knife and I... What fucking... Why? What happened?
Oh, fuck.
It's like I have to guess what order I'm supposed to do it in, or else he just repeats the same shit over and over.
The me of the past?
I shouldn't remember, but I also shouldn't forget.
Deep.
Fake? Why? Oh yeah, I got a knife and I...
Shoved it in my...
But I made this, that's for certain.
I'm gonna throw up.
A warning. A warning. Oh, fuck, what is this? What is this?
Suda!
What is this?
Suda!
No, I guess I'll look again. Ah, that was it.
Was it?
A warn. Where is this place? What the fuck was that?
You did it! Yay! Yay!
As I finished meeting with Turtle Guy and went back to my room, I began some preparations. I sent a message to Shoot. I made a promise not to chat with him as Goddess at 11 p.m. With Goddess at 11 p.m. Just as I had warned him before, Turtle Guy appeared and stole the password, which meant that the thing we spoke about previously was going to happen. Next, from my closet, I got out the pin stick gun I had procured for me by the same man who got the illegal cell phone. It was the real deal, with some kind of origami attached. I was confident that I could play this through, climb up through the ceiling, and stab Milu through the top of the head. The fact that I had imagined it in such thorough detail must have been because it was me who meant to kill her like this. But did I really possess the murderous intent necessary? I felt like maybe I didn't. At the time, I felt it was a sense of calling, that murderous intent I had held on to for so long until as recently was nothing more than an opportunity. Gun and phone in hand, I stood up. The origami
more
killer.
email.
One more email. One more email.
Release the emails.
Wait, are these Hillary's released
We
emails?
already made that joke in chat.
Oh, did they?
You already made
Shit.
that joke. You missed it like you're long ago.
I drank.
Drank. Oh!
Did
you
I
broke
break that?
You broke.
You
the
drank
shot
it
glass.
so hard you broke it.
Jesus.
Am I sleeping? Oh! She didn't exist! I was talking to a dead person!
Oh, it was a real The Shining.
It's all decayed into ruin. Everything. Oh yeah, her too.
I'm in your memory.
I was never real.
I was never real. Fuck you.
But
I have more emails.
I go back to my room. The feeling of firing the pin stick is still buzzing in my hands, but I sit down in front of my computer like nothing happened. Then, just as always, I reach out to the same keyboard as usual with the same fingers. Talking to Turtle Guy was fun. I was able to talk to him several times that day. I called him again after
Miru.
died too. Once
Miru.
died. The entire flow changed. It was me who changed it. I got my hands dirty and changed it. I used the phone and the mail sent from the cell phone to tell him about sudden death. I acted up a storm. It was so exciting. I wanted him to know that
Meru.
could predict things. Soon GLG will disappear from before me. When that happens, it's you who will become involved with me next. That's what I really wanted to say to you. My very existence itself was like a gun with the same sort of pin stick equipped to it. Once again, I sat down in front of my computer and prepared. Turtle Guy was entered my channel on Quarter. There was something very important that I had to tell him. I had to tell him that this is the beginning.
Maybe the real emails were the emails we emailed along the email. Fuck you, 9/11.
Fuck you.
Oh, different
my
writing.
God.
Now it's on a black background.
If you've opened this and are reading this mail, then it's almost certain that the person reading this is me.
What?
I'm writing this to myself with that belief. For me, the future has probably lost several memories. Soon they will be coming for me. I had stayed on the run, but it's finally gotten to the point where I can't run any longer. If I get caught, they're going to mess with my head, so I decided to seal off some of my memories. I've been thinking about and preparing for this for some time. I decided to use hypnosis to bury certain memories way deep down. If I am ever allowed my freedom again, then that must mean that I don't know anything, can't do anything, and I am no longer a threat, either a threat nor a boon to them. What I mean is, that's you now. So I'm warning you. Trying to forcibly retrieve those memories is dangerous. It will only bring you death. They are watching you. Don't ever forget that. At any rate, danger will come someday, so you'll need to be ready for it. Your enemy is not one simple organization. You're going to need weapons. The super strong sort of weapon I wasn't able to hold on to. You're going to need to find her. She's looking for you, too. Those special abilities should be helpful. And do not forget this. No matter what, the only one who can stand up against
Kamui.
is...
Ayame.
IMA.
Also, oh my gosh.
After I finished chatting, I wrote a mail to GLG. I thanked him for taking me in, even though I was void of normal emotion, for teaching me about the shelter, and more than anything else, for treating me like a whammin.
Whammon.
Even while knowing that
Cute
physically
fire spots
I was a man. Until I was given the existence of
Meru.
the reason that my mind and body were always always all messed up is because I have gender identity disorder.
Progressive.
My body is a man. My mind is a woman. I don't know if I was born with it or if it was due to my life
Or
in the
maybe it's
shelter.
Maybelline.
The splitting of genders happens over several stages in between the sperm fertilizing the egg and the birth of the child. Physical gender is set 8 weeks into embryonic development, and mentally it happens between 5 and 8 months. When this process works out properly, the child's gender matches up in both body and mind. So with gender identity disorder, that's some sort of trouble occurs during that process, and the genders of the body and mind split up. This is one possible theory. In fact, there are actual recorded cases of this happening. Anyway, precisely because my mind and body were all messed up, the girl who was plugged in system fit me.
Meru.
And I were a perfect match, although I'm a fake woman with the appearance of a woman. The clients as my audience, my communication with others as a woman, and having felt what it's like being treated like a woman, I was able to find who I was supposed to be. When that happened, for some reason, my special abilities of a shelter child suddenly made themselves apparent. I sent the mail and took a deep breath. I thought about the future, my calling, my fate, my destiny. We're getting plot.
This game is woke.
Actually getting plot, which is really rare.
But why did she have to be killed?
It's like a weird haiku.
And by my hand at that. It's because she was absolute evil.
She was a hua.
Because she didn't throw her trash away properly? No. Of course not. She was the stereotypical embodiment of...
Kamui. Kamui.
Then what about...
Ayame.
Am I good then? That's not it either. I'm an
Ayame.
believer, but I don't believe in good nor evil. It's just a standoff. If A is evil, then B is called good. That's all. I understand. So, the standoff itself is the problem. That's exactly right. Right in the center of that standoff is where he is.
He's a centrist.
And so because of that, yeah, that's why he gets killed.
Cool. I definitely know who they're talking about. I totally understand this.
Yeah.
I will be accepting no follow-up questions. Was that the level?
Hey!
That was a lot of reading.
I'm gonna go smoke weed because I need something.
Okay,
Like,
sure. We'll take a time break. The long day is over.
No shit.
holy shit.
Okay.
At least it's self-aware.
Yep.
Okay, we'll save. We'll take a short break. Yeah. Yo, go.
That's
Gore.
actually a national trophy.
Nagare.
I can't wait to see the combat. This is your first time
Oh,
watching the stream.
the combat physics in this are amazing.
Amazing. And sometimes you get to reap. You get to reap the spoils of your.
Yes, you do.
God.
All right.
Yep.
You wanted to take a short break?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.